Hello and welcome back to my channel. So in last week's video I unveiled the new Legacy 4 program for the XP DEUS 2 remote control, and now this week I'm going to show you how to put that exact same program onto your WS6ST puck. Now it's important to remember that you will need the latest firmware if you're using the WS6ST, and that firmware is 4.1. So once the puck has turned on, we just need to navigate to program number 2, sensitive, and that's going to be the base program for the Legacy. And now what we need to do is navigate through the program menu by pushing it 6 times to where you see multiprocessing, and we're going to make sure we do the multiprocessing section first. The reason for this is because then we won't have to go back and change other things that the multiprocessing options will override. So once yours says multiprocessing, we're going to push the plus button 3 times until it says dual reactivity. And now what we need to do is edit it. So we hold down the program button and we now go into the dual reactivity menu where we can set this up as our user 5 preset. So you'll notice straight away that channel 2 says discrimination. So we're going to push that button and we're going to push it again to move off of the panning bar. And now we're channel 1, we're going to push the plus button to put a chorus effect on faint deep targets. And you'll notice that when we do that, the panning bar automatically goes to 0, and that's the position that we want it in. Now I explained carefully in the previous video for the remote control that even though the panning bar is on 0, it doesn't mean that you're not hearing stereo in your headphones. Panning is a very different thing to stereo, and by using either effect on channel 1 or channel 2, you're also getting a stereo effect. So moving down to reactivity. Now we want channel 1's reactivity to be on 2.5, and then by pushing this button we move across to channel 1, and we want the reactivity of channel 1 to be on 1. So if we go that down again by pushing the program button, we can now adjust our sensitivities, and I'm going to have sensitivity of 93 across both channels. And remember, just to get it to move across, you just hold down the button. By pushing the button, you move down through the menu. So the channel volume of each of these is going to be at 9, and then we're going to go down and adjust the audio tone or the audio type. So I'm going to be using PWM, but of course you can use anything you want. If you do decide to use square or any of the other audio types, then it might be worth just copying it across the other side as well, because this particular program uses PWM and PWM in channel 2. The only caveat to that will be full tones, because that will change how all the tones are set up on this program drastically. So if you want to have the 5 tone setup that this program offers, stick with either PWM, square, high square or low square. And now we need to push the program menu button again, and this is where we select the tones. So for instance, at the moment it's set to 2 tones, 2T. We want to move that up so that it says 5T, 5 tones. Now we're going to hold down the menu button to cross over into channel 2, and now we need to hold down the minus button all the way until that says off. There we go. So that means we aren't using a high tone for channel 2. So the reactivity that we're using is going to be for ferrous and ferrous only. Now push the menu button again, and we're going to move down to iron tone. Now the iron tone for channel 2 is going to be 189. So push the plus button to move it up until it says 189. There we go. Now we're going to hold down the button, move it across to channel 1, and channel 1 is going to be at 126. So you might as well hold it down a little bit until you get to the lower numbers. 126, There we go. So we've got a nice deep low tone for our more predominant channel 1, and then a slightly higher but still very low hertz range for channel 2. Now push the button again and we are going to move down to the iron volume. So the iron volume for channel 1, which is our main channel, is going to stay at 8. But we're going to move across to channel 2 and we're going to move that up so that it says 7. That means the low reactivity and the 189 Hertz that we've previously selected is going to be heard at a volume of 7, whereas channel 1 will be a little bit louder at 8. Now, if you push the button again, you'll notice that we've just arrived to the very top of the multi-processing menu. So we've completed that section, and that now means we can back out by using this button, and we're going to push it again by using that button. Now we want to go in and change some of the audio settings. So for this option, we're going to push the cog here, and where it says audio, we're going to hold down the cog to enter the audio menu. Now the first thing we're going to do is change the equalizer, and you'll notice that's selectable on the volume page. So hold down the cog again and you will go into the equalizer. So the first band, which is 150 Hertz, is going to be plus 12. So just put it all the way to the top. Push the cog to move to the next band, and that's going to say plus 6. Push the cog again, that one's staying at 0 decibels. And the very last one there, we're going to push it up so that it says plus 9. That's going to give us a really deep sounding low ferrous tone to help us spot some of those pesky little signals that might trick us, but it's also just going to increase those nice high conductors as well. So now what we need to do is push the program button to come back into the audio menu, and then push the cog icon to make sure that we've got PWM selected, or of course whatever audio type you prefer, and then make sure your audio filter also says 0 as well. And you'll notice that when we push the cog, we just return back to the volume selection. So now we need to go in and actually program some of the program settings. So we're going to hit the program button, and then we're going to see discrimination. Now the discrimination for the Legacy 4 program is actually 3.4. So you're going to want to push your buttons until you get to 3.4. And at this stage, we now need to go in and set up those 5 tones that we'd previously selected in the multi-processing menu. So in order to do that, we have to hold down the menu button where it says 5 tones. We're going to hold it down again, and now we can go in and select each tone. Well, because we went into the multi-processing menu first, it already knows that our iron tone is going to be at 126 Hertz. And it also knows the break for it is going to be at 3.4. And of course, it knows the volume is going to be at 8. So we can just move directly on to the second tone. Now the second tone, we need to bring this down so that it's at 189. And that's very, very similar to how we'd previously set it up in the multi-processing menu. So just hold down the minus button till you get to 189. And then that is going to be the sound of your second tone. We're going to push the program button again, and we're going to move the tone break up to 36. And then by pushing it again, we're going to change the volume of it so that it matches the iron. We're going to go down to a volume of 8. Now we can move on to the third tone by pushing the menu button, and the third tone sound is going to be at 507 Hertz. So once again, move it down there using the minus key until yours says 507 Hertz. Now we select at what point in the tone scale we want to hear 507 Hertz. Well, we want it to be anything with a VDI of 63 and under. And now we can push the menu button again, and we're going to keep the volume of that one at 10. Now let's push the program button, move into the fourth tone. Now this one is actually going to be 741 Hertz, so we don't have to move it too far for that sound. We want that particular sound to be heard on anything up to 78. and we want the volume of it to be 10. And now we can move into the final tone break. This is the fifth and final one. So we already know that anything 78 and above is what we're going to hear. So we just have to select what sound we want for it. Now this is going to be a nice high clear 982. Then of course we know what the tone break is, and we just need to make sure that the volume also says 10. Now by pushing the button again, you now move into the ground iron break section, and we want to adjust this down so that it says minus 2.0. Now for anyone that missed it in the previous video, the reason why we're using a bit of ground iron break is because it's again another tool that's going to help us identify tricky iron and maybe some of those small nails as well. Ground iron break has the ability to sort of shift the dial a little bit and allow some of those iron sounds that are sometimes missed because of the ground zone to come through. So it means that if you like to hear iron, which I do, then you'll get a much richer experience with it by using the ground iron break, and that in turn is going to help you identify some of the iron. So now we need to come back by pushing the cog, because we've successfully inputted all 5 of the tones. Now by pushing the program again, you'll see bottle caps. That's going to be at 0 for this program. And by pushing it again, we move into the notch. Now we want our notch to be between 23 and 27, and this notch is primarily just for coke. Now I would suggest that if you don't have coke where you metal detect, you probably won't need a notch at all. However, I would also say that there's not much you're going to find that's good between the numbers of 23 to 27. So really, you're better off having the notch on there and then not having to put it on if you do go into a cokey area. And as I said, you're probably not going to miss anything. So we need to change this notch so that it says 23 to 27. And the way we're going to do that is by holding down the menu button. Now what you'll notice straight away is that we can now push the plus button and then move that up so that it says 23 to 27. And to confirm it, you can obviously just go through there and it will say 23 to 27. And that's perfect. That's where we want it. Now push the cog icon, and now we can go and push the menu button once again, and you can see that we've completed all of the expert settings there, so we can now push the backwards button. This means that we can now go to the silencer, and we want the silencer to be on 1, so we don't have to change that. We've already preset that in the multi-processing menu, and that's why it already says number 1. We've already preset the sensitivity at 93, so we don't have to do that either. Now, I don't have a coil connected to my puck at the moment, but you will want to make sure that this says a max frequency of 24 kilohertz. If you're using the HF2 coil, then I would suggest using a max frequency of 29 kilohertz, because that will give you the most similar experience with this program. Now, pushing the menu button again, we've already preset the iron volume in multiprocessing, so we don't have to do that. And we've also preset the reactivity too. Now we're going to skip past the multiprocessing because we've already done that. And the final thing we have to change for the legacy program is the audio response. So we're just going to hit that up to 5. Push the menu button again, skip past the ground balance menu, and you'll notice that we've just come straight back to the top of the menu. And at this stage, we can now push the cog icon once, and all of those custom settings are now in there and ready for you to use. The only thing that's left to do is to save it as a program. Otherwise, you're going to do all this work, turn the puck off, and then realize that you didn't save it in. So to do that on the WS6 or WS6ST, it's really simple. You just push the cog, and now you push it until it says program. Then whilst it says program, you hold down the cog and it will say, do you want to save the program? Hold it down again. And then what it does is it saves it on the available slot that's just after sensitive. So every factory program has one save slot afterwards. So you can see now that if we push the back button, the sensitive factory program is there, ready for us to use unmodified. But if you want to use the Legacy 4 program, you'll notice it's now the one after 2, before 3, and you'll see the little user icon there telling you that you are now using the Legacy 4 custom program. And that really is it. You are ready to go. So if you're using the WS6 Master, or of course the WS6ST, then you now have successfully inputted the Legacy program onto your puck. Now, there has been so much great feedback for this program, and I'm absolutely grateful for everyone that has stopped by and let me know what they found with it, how they thought of it, and all of those sorts of things. I really do appreciate it. Do continue to do that. So if you go out and use it and you have a great experience, and hey, even if you have a bad experience, come back and let me know. I like feedback in all shapes and forms. So as before, please do drop me a like for all the hard work making these programs. I don't ask very much. I don't charge you money. I just ask that you hit one little like button down below, and that really does help me out a lot. So there we go. That's the Legacy program on the WS6 Master. Go out and use it. Let me know what you think. And I, of course, will see you on the very next hole.